Hi, thanks for tuning in. My name is Mia, and today I will be doing a walkthrough of this book by Christina Carlson called Your Dream Life Starts Here. And there is also a complimentary journal. So these two items I purchased separately from the website kikki.com. By the way, this post is not sponsored at all. So I just think that these are beautiful books that I hope will inspire you to pursue your dream life. You may have noticed that I have 3 copies of this book here. So in the future, I will be giving away the additional copies that I have. So make sure that you stick around and share your comments, what you think about the book, and what goals or plans you have for the upcoming year. So it is the middle of December, or I'm sorry, not December, January 2021. And I was thinking of kicking off the year with some really inspirational books. So I was on the pursuit of finding some books for myself to add to my own library collection at home. I did tell myself that I'm going to read more this year. So that's always a goal that I have every year. New Year is actually my favorite holiday. So most people would probably, if you ask them what is their favorite holiday, they'll probably say Thanksgiving or Christmas. Well, mine is New Year because I get to set New Year resolutions and start fresh. But really, you can do that any day and any time of the year. Another great, perfect opportunity to reset and start fresh is on your birthday. So for me, I always spend my birthday reflecting on the past year and how I have grown, and what the next milestone for me would look like personally. All right, so let's begin. So feel free to skip ahead. We're just going to go through this book section by section. So it might be a lengthy video, but I am a book snob and I love knowing exactly what I'm going to get in my book before I purchase them. So this is for anyone who is curious about the content that's in this book. And also, just FYI, this book is meant to be a workbook also, so there is space in here that you can write your responses. However, the journal is really nice because you just have additional room to write all of your responses. So the different chapters, of course, they correspond with each other. So chapter 1 and chapter 1 here would obviously match. All right, so here we have a little opening page about Christina. She's the founder of Kikki, and I watched some of her videos and listened to her podcast. She's really passionate about just dreaming. I think that a lot of times we get pretty caught up in life, and when you're a child, you're daydreaming, and everything in the world seems to be possible. But I think as we get older, obviously life kind of becomes more of a reality and we have to do adulting. So I think that we lose touch with our dreams and our passions and our curiosity and creativity and the things that really inspire us. Not to say that the older you get, you lose creativity. I think that you can have that at any age, but I think because of life responsibilities, we just don't really make enough time to pursue our imagination and dream and things like that. All right, so this book is actually pretty thick. I don't know how many pages. Let's see, it looks like it's 331 pages. So you're getting 331 pages of really valuable information that obviously someone put the time and effort to into researching and compiling all of the key points that you can use in your plan for your dream life. So here is the table of contents. As you can see, this book is very strategically laid out. In the first chapter, you have Open Your Heart and Dream Without Limits. So this is just the introduction to the practice of dreaming, not being afraid to pursue what you really want, and being able to take that first step and have courage to believe that you can accomplish something. A lot of times we hold ourselves back because we have this inner voice telling us that maybe we're not good enough, or maybe we just don't know enough, we're not smart enough, or we don't have enough money, or whatever it is. These are just setbacks that we trick ourselves into thinking that we won't be able to achieve something. Number 2, so chapter number 2 talks about being inspired by the dreams of others. So you have to realize that you are not the only one who is passionate or interested in pursuing something, that you might feel like it's a lonely journey. However, when you start connecting with other people who do share your passion and share your hobbies and interests, who have similar lifestyle or philosophies or personal values, all of a sudden your world just opens up and becomes more abundant and more connected and more exciting. So being inspired by the dreams of others will help you to cultivate your own dreams. Chapter 3, so this is something that I'm working on in my personal life. It's start today. So I've been spending the last 2 or 3 years dreaming about starting this business that I'm really passionate about. And I've spent so much, countless or endless hours just dreaming and thinking and researching, and yes, being inspired by what other people are doing. So I think that's part of the process. You want to know that what you're pursuing is worthwhile. So now, for me personally, in my journey in creating my own dream life, I'm at chapter 3. So start today. There is a time when you have to just accept that it's never going to be perfect, that it's never going to be the perfect time or moment or the perfect day or whatever it is, perfect reason to start something. You want to be ready, but honestly, you will never be 100% ready. So you just have to trust your guts and just take the leap. Just be courageous and just go for it. So part of that process is committing to yourself. So now you have an idea of what you want in your life, what you envision, and now you're going to pursue it. Number 4, you're in the driver's seat. So chapter 4 talks about you being in control of your dream life that you're creating. And by the way, we are going to get into some of these chapters, but I am spending some time going through the table of contents because I think the table of contents is one of the most important elements of a book, because it shows you how the book is structured and how you're going to engage with the book, how you're going to find value from the book and extract the information. Whenever I review books or browse books, I always read the table of contents and the index, and then I skim through some of the chapters to see if the language is either fluffy or if it is actually valuable. Okay, so number 5, so chapter 5 talks about who you are and where you are at right now. I think this chapter talks about embracing the process and the journey and not being anxious about you're anticipating an end goal and you have this idea of what it's supposed to look like. But chapter 5 talks about embracing that process, that you are exactly where you are meant to be right now in your process. So part of the journey is just to really enjoy that process and learn and discover. Chapter 6, discover and follow your passions. Honestly, I don't know what this chapter is about, so we may peek over. So chapter 6 is page 103, so let's head over there. (103). Imagine what it would be like to spend most of your time doing things you don't like, in an environment you don't like, surrounded by people you don't like. Not much fun. And there's a short story by the author here about her personal experience. If only all schools taught children how to find their passions. If you love what you do, you've already won half the battle. And if you don't love what you do, now's the time to start exploring. I think this chapter is, there's a little exercise here and you write down all of your passions. I think this chapter is really just grounding what your dream life is. Like, you have validated, you've already started dreaming, you've envisioned what your dream life is like, and you told yourself, you committed that you're going to pursue it. Now I think chapter 6 is about really grounding in what exactly is it that is driving you, that you're going to pursue. Okay, so chapter 7, be guided what you truly value. So basically, chapter 7 is all about authenticity, being who you are and having the life experience that you have makes you valid in pursuing your passions. It makes you an expert in your own life. Chapter 8, life is short, live without regret. Chapter 8, I think, is just a nice little pep talk to keep you on the right path to pursue your dream life. Chapter 9, the power of purpose. So chapter 7 and 9 are both about authenticity. Chapter 7 is more about, I believe, more about the inner, what your inner values are and who you are as a person, where you translate it into your purpose and then you share it with a larger community. Chapter 10, more inspiration, dream quotes. Chapter 11, your dream week and dream year. I think chapter 11 is where you really start to plan strategically how you're going to take the steps to achieve or get closer to your dream life. Chapter 12, start pulling it together. Your dream life looks like this. I think chapter 12 might be just a recap of what you've done, the exercises you've done so far in the previous chapters, and the main concepts or points in the previous chapters. And it's kind of a what is it called, like a review or a reflection in the process. Chapter 13 looks like it's kind of fun. So visualize, write your dream life story. I think that you have a better understanding by now of what your dream life looks like. You know who you are, you know what your personal values are. You've done the exercise of finding your purpose. You've explored other people's dreams, so you're inspired, and now you are sharing or starting to share your passions and interests and your purpose, your why, things like that with a larger community, and realizing that there is a whole world out there with people who understand exactly what you value as well. So in all of that, I think that chapter 13 is about you, as you are a unique piece in this grand scheme of things, in this larger community. So yes, there may be a community who are supportive, of course, and inspiring each other, but even and sharing the same passions, but even in that community, you are still you, and you are still unique, and you are still like no one else in the world or in that community, that group, or whoever is supporting you. Prioritize your dreams. Number 14, this goes back to the self and how you have to value yourself, take care of yourself, make yourself a priority, because at the end of the day, no one is going to put in the work to create your dream life for you. And you have to be your own cheerleader, your own life coach, your own mentor. And I think that's what chapter 14 is about. Chapter 15, look at your dreams daily. So this is most likely about creating a routine or a habit, a daily habit that you can stick to. And I think I read that it was a really brilliant writer on medium.com, and he talked about the difference between committing to a goal, like a general goal, versus committing to a daily habit. So similar to, I think, in the book Atomic Habits, basically it talks about not just committing to a general goal, like for example, I'm going to write a book one day, but instead committing to a daily habit and milestones that will help you get to that bigger goal. So for example, if I say, oh, I'm going to write a book one day, that's great, but what am I doing today, right now, to bring me closer to that goal? So I can say that, okay, I'm going to sign up for this course. I'm going to complete this course, and then I'm going to practice writing every day, 300 words a day, 500 words a day. Or I'm going to practice creating YouTube videos and learning as I go. So this is all about creating a daily routine and committing to daily habits. Chapter 16 is probably similar to two of the other chapters that were about sharing your dreams with others. However, for example, chapter 2 was being inspired by the dreams of others, and chapter 10, I think, was more inspiration, like a pep talk, whereas chapter 13, it's similar, but it is a little different, where you inspire other people. So when you start to share your dream and your purpose with other people, when you start talking about it, it kind of plants like a little seed in other people's vision, and they're inspired to pursue something that is right for them, that they hear your story and they realize that, wait, I have been through that also, and I feel that also. So now you've planted a seed, and it's growing in other people when you share your story. Chapter 17 is a really important one, from dreaming to doing. So this is similar to chapter 3, start today. So you have to take that first step. And then chapter 11, your dream week and year, where you plan it out. Now that you've set your daily habits and committed to it in chapter 15, for chapter 17, you're really doing this. You've dreamed, and now you're doing it every day, and sooner or later you will eventually get to where you want to be. Chapter 18, rewrite your dreams as inspiringly smart dreams. This is a little mysterious in a good way to me. I have no idea what chapter 18 is about, so this will definitely be something that I will explore on my own. But for the sake of this video, let's just go through the rest of the chapters. So brainstorm every action. I think this is just actionable plans, where you have to keep doing what you're doing and stick with a planner, stick with a journal, create your vision board, stick with your daily habits. Chapter 20, who can help? So tapping into resources. It's really important to remember that you are not on this journey alone. Although it is your journey and it is your life, it is your passion. However, remember that there are people who support you, who are genuinely happy that you are pursuing your happiness. So build your support system. And as one of my directors from a previous life I've had when I worked in corporate world, he was an excellent mentor to me, and I've been fortunate enough to have several mentors throughout my career. But one of the most important advice that he ever gave me was that I needed to build my own board of directors. So perceive your dream life or project or plan, or just you, who you are, as a business, not in the restricted corporate context, but a business with access to resources, with a board of directors that you can tap into. So who can help? These resources and individuals and people would be basically your board of directors and your advisors. If you can, find a mentor. It takes a little bit of courage to open up and ask someone for their time and let them know that you really admire their work ethic, you admire their talent, what they've accomplished so far. You're working on similar things in your life as well, and you're just inspired by them. It's the biggest compliment to tell someone that they inspire you. So, and most people do want to give, they want to help. So don't be afraid to ask people for advice. And this can be someone who becomes your mentor over a time period, over the course of your life. It can be a really good friend. It can be a colleague, or someone a higher up at work, or a neighbor, like anyone. It could even be a stranger. So don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to share your dreams and your purpose and your vision. So chapter 21, potential barriers and possible solutions. I think that this chapter is most likely about how you're going to tackle challenges that come up. So every journey will not be smooth. It's more worthwhile. It's like worth pursuing when you know that you have challenges and you overcame them. Now you have a really beautiful story to share with others, and just more to be grateful for and to be proud of. Chapter 22, what supports can I put in place? How I've applied these doing processes. So chapter 22 is most likely similar to chapter 20, but kind of going a little bit more in depth, where now chapter 20 is being open to asking for advice, seeking mentorship, signing up for classes, resources, building your skills, staying connected with a community. Whereas chapter 22 is more about, okay, now that you've identified what your resources are, how are you going to take advantage of those resources and make the most of what they have to offer? And it's a mutual relationship. So you can offer something in return. You can actually, you would think, or you would assume that a mentor is a one-way relationship where you benefit from the mentor. But a lot of times mentors really enjoy that intrinsic value of helping someone else, guiding them through the process, but they also really enjoy just learning from their mentee as well. Chapter 23, your 7 key things to focus on. I have no idea what these 7 key things are, so I will probably visit chapter 23. It's probably a cheat sheet or 7 mantras or something, 7 items that are just non-negotiable if you want to pursue your dream life. Chapter 24, I think, is one of the most exciting chapters in this book so far. It's creating your 1-page dream roadmap. So for me, I know that I am pretty much getting started here, starting today, but I really want to be able to go through all of the exercises and be able to create a roadmap that basically becomes the blueprint of my dream life. And I'm going to pursue whatever it is that I envision in my dream life. So chapter 24 is really exciting. And chapter 25 is just celebrating the process of dreaming. It's a lifelong process. There are we are in an evolving being. So everything that we experience in life, it's not like you've accomplished something and then you check it off a list and you mark it off and then you close the book and the end. But it's a process. You can continue dreaming, continue to be inspired, revisit all of these exercises, practice this, put it into your daily life, make it a lifestyle. You can inspire others, seek inspiration from others. Maybe you were a mentee who needed a mentor, but maybe in the future you become a mentor to someone else. So I think that this book is really beautiful, and I just love the way that it is structured, and these chapters really are significant. Like each chapter is a very important piece in your dream life. All right, so I know I spent quite some time on the table of contents, but as I said, table of contents is one of the most important things that I look for in any book. Okay, here, inspiring stories and wisdom. It looks like this is just a quick reference to stories throughout the book, so I think these are page numbers. Quote here. So this book, of course, is elegantly sprinkled with quotes throughout. Quotes are woven throughout the book, so I think it's just really beautiful. I love the language in this book, by the way. So from my heart to yours, your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. I just think that the words were carefully chosen to tell stories in this book. It's definitely not fluff. So, you know, when you purchase a book and you're attracted to the title, and then you kind of flip it over and read the back of the book, and then you read one or two reviews, and then you impulse buy it, and then when you start to read it and you feel like it was fluffier than you thought, so it's kind of disappointing. However, this book is the complete opposite of that. I had no idea what I was expecting when I came across this book, and I thought it was just gonna be like, you know, a book with some narratives and like some life lessons and things like that. But when I went through the content of these books, I just really fell in love with the book, because it's truly a masterpiece in terms of a workbook that you can incorporate in your life time and time again. So I think it's just a classic piece that you need to have in your library and tap into over and over again throughout your lifetime, and share it with people that you love and people that you care about. And we will definitely get into the journal later, so just be patient, and we can go through the rest of this book a little bit. So there's beautiful photographs everywhere. I love how this book is laid out. Like there's an introduction, a little story, a little cheat sheet of where you can flip to the pages to find those stories, and a breaking point with a beautiful photograph, so that it's not text after text after text, so you don't get mentally fatigued, because it is a very compact book. How to get the most value from this book, where to do the written exercises. So again, this book is kind of like a workbook. For the most part, it's text but there are some exercises in here that, so this, for example, would correlate directly to these exercises would correlate directly to the journal. So you can read through this and then write them in your journal. But there is some space in here in this book to write. I love how each chapter has, so chapter 2 here, be inspired by the dreams of others. So I love how each chapter has, the beginning has bullet points or like main ideas that you should make a philosophy, turn into a philosophy in your life. And I love reading stories. It's just so personal and it's just so enjoyable. So I really appreciate the little stories, but sometimes I also don't want to read a really lengthy story. So this book, again, is the perfect balance between personal stories and exercises and reflection. This is a beautiful quote. So here it looks like there's 7 exercises. Maybe it's the end of chapter 2. Chapter 2 was about being inspired by other people's dreams. So here on this page you have real dreams you may find inspiring. So this is really nice. All right, so more text, some more exercises here. This is chapter 3. Chapter 3, start today. So this is where I'm at in my process. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So I think I've been pushing and procrastinating, and eventually it gets to a point where I feel like, okay, I really have no excuse because I've done the research. I'm fairly familiar with the process. So really there's nothing stopping me from taking that first step except myself. So you just have to take the courage, go in and take that first step. Chapter 3 again is about getting started. So the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Really nice quote, very appropriate for the topic or theme. So the exercise in chapter 3 here, it says, start now by answering these questions in your dream life journal. So that would be this book here, the journal. The first exercise, decide what day and time of day you'll work through this book and the exercises. I recommend that you make it an hour a day because you're worth it. But even an hour once a week is great and will have you moving forward. Choose what works best for you. The key is to make a decision you can commit on a regular basis. So I was reading in this book, one of the previous pages, that even if it's just 1 hour that you spend a day in the morning or afternoon, I wouldn't recommend afternoon because usually you're busy with other things, but in the morning before you start the day or in the evening, if you're not too tired, but it can be part of your bedtime routine. It doesn't really matter when exactly, but the important part is to make it consistent. So every day try to spend 1 hour on yourself and invest that hour in yourself. And if you really think about it, it might seem that 1 hour doesn't make that much of a difference, but it does add up. So 1 hour per day times 7 days a week, that's 7 hours. That's basically one full work day. So 7 hours times how many weeks do we have in a year? 52, right? So whatever that number is, that's how many hours you have invested into yourself, into building your dream life, into becoming a better version of you, into invested in building skills and pursuing just things that make you happy. So whatever that number equals, that's how much time you've spent in 1 year on yourself. And it's really amazing. Exercise 4 here. Decide in advance where you'll do your dream practice, somewhere you won't be interrupted, somewhere inspiring for you. Knowing this and locking it in will help you take away a potential barrier or reason to procrastinate. So I think this is just getting to know what type of environment you work best in. For me, I am inspired by beautiful environments, so I love a neat room with some art and some beautiful colors, fresh scents and flowers and bright daylight. Even just not doing anything, when I walk into a room that is inspiring, like, it helps me get into that relax, focus mode where I feel less anxious, so I can focus on what matters and what my intention is for that hour. It can be, some people like to work at cafe, or they like the background noise of cafes, or a park, wherever. Can be at home, anywhere, wherever you feel comfortable. The power of putting pen to paper. So this is just about committing to yourself. It sounds like such a simple thing, like, okay, you wrote something down. Does it mean that it becomes reality? No. However, you wrote something down, so intentionally you want to do it, you mean to do it, and it's kind of, you're committing to yourself that you're going to do it. So it's in ink or pencil, it's on paper, so it's a commitment. All right, so as you can see, this book is full of content that's concise, but also like very compact, absolutely not fluffy at all. It's structured, it's laid out very well with exercises in each chapter, quotes throughout the book that are relevant to each chapter's theme or topic, and stories that you can just read and appreciate or enjoy or share, and really start to think about your own life and your own experiences. This is nice. So I've been thinking about, what's next for me that I want to do. Besides just starting a business, what else do I want to do? And I'm in that process of being open to learning about what other people are doing in their life, because maybe I want to adopt one of their hobbies, or try something new, or borrow an idea and make it my own, in terms of like give it my own reason or purpose, finding inspiration from other people. Maybe it's a goal that someone else has or have already accomplished, and maybe I want to try that too, like learning a new language, starting your own business. So there's tons of things to be excited about. All right, so this book, although it's not too thin, but it's also not too thick, it's definitely workable. You can consume the content and ideas in bite-sized pieces. I think it's meant to be consumed in bite-sized style, so that you don't overload your brain. But I mean, if you can go through the book in one sitting, that's excellent. But I do recommend going through the book section by section, or 1 or 2 exercises at a time, just to give yourself that time to enjoy the process and to reflect as well. All right, so remember chapter 11 was about your dream week and dream year. So I think that this is where you write down what you plan the next year to look like in terms of months and weeks, designing your roadmap. Actually, let's skip to was it chapter 24 that I was really excited about? 24. Creating your one-page dream roadmap. There's always more than one way to get anything done. True. Estimate how long each key action will take. Choose a start date and completion deadline. Break them down into smaller tasks if necessary, and think through who can help with each, if any. And of course, some exercises for the end of the chapter as well. Exercise number 3, put the key dates and tasks in your diary, and on the day you come across each action in your diary, do it. They're important to you. Yeah, so I think this book is really beautiful. So just to show you the journal, so this is the companion or complementary supplemental book to the Dream Life book, and obviously a lot more space for you to write down your responses. And once you go through the exercises in this book and jot down all of your thoughts and ideas in the journal, it's nice to be able to revisit your thoughts and ideas, and maybe you wrote something down that you want to pursue in the future, but you haven't made it a priority because you have other priorities. So now you can go back and see what else have you dreamed of. So that's really exciting. I really love the process of discovering myself. So I don't know, I guess I'm like a super introvert, but I'm also really outgoing, and I love talking to people and connecting with people, learning about their stories, sharing my stories, laughing, like normal socializing. But I'm also very introspective, so it's one of my favorite activities to just be by myself and look within and just reflect. To me, it's such a natural part of who I am. I do it without really thinking too much about it. So I think that's my version of self-care. So far it's been good to me to be introspective, because I feel like if I understand myself better and who I am, and I'm more self-aware, I can share value with other people around me. Okay, so that was the Dream Life book and Dream Life journal. So I just want to show you really quickly some bonus items. So here, let's get this one out of the way. So we have these mini books also by Kikki. And remember that chapter in the Dream Life book about finding your purpose? So here is a mini book about finding your purpose, or the power of purpose. So I haven't gone through this book yet. I just love collecting things and they're so cute. That's why I got them. Yeah, I'm just a book hoarder, so. But anyway, they're super cute. The content, I imagine, is probably similar to the Dream Life book. I really don't know because I haven't gone through them yet, but I might do another video where I walk through the mini books, but they're just super cute to have. And they're so light. You can toss this in your bag or keep it at your desk at work or wherever. You can gift it to someone. It's not a big size, you know, so it's not a big commitment such as the Dream Life book where it's compact. It's like a whole entire course in it. Whereas the mini books are little introductions and to the ideas in the Dream Life book. So this one here, The Power of Purpose, from dreaming to doing, so about taking action. Follow your passion, so this is having the courage to pursue your dreams and your passion. Dare to dream big. I think this was getting back in touch with yourself and being courageous and remembering what it feels like to dream authentically. Finding out what really matters to you. I think it's a really fun and beautiful process. Like, maybe I daydream a lot, but it's one of my favorite activities to do. I just love getting inspired and lost in my thoughts, but also not lost, but like enmeshed in my thoughts, because you find so much inspiration that just comes out. And then this book here, I think, Visualize Your Dream Life. So this is the exciting, you know, it's when all of the pieces start to come together and then you realize that your life is starting to become that dream life that you envisioned. So these mini books are really adorable. Also by Christina Carlson. I think it's on her list of her top favorite items. All right, so in another video, I do have more products from Kikki. However, I will not go through them in this video because for the sake of time and just because I want to focus on the other products in another video. But just really quickly, this is a guided journal called Thrive. It was designed with Arianna Huffington. So if you don't know who she is from Huffington Post. She is the CEO or founder. I'm not exactly sure what her title is, but she is an amazing woman. And I went to her book signing event a few years ago. In her book called Thrive, I have her book somewhere and she signed it. I remember getting in line and I was so excited that she signed my book. However, in the book, she talks about how there is an expectation for especially women in the corporate world to work so hard to the point that we're burning ourselves out. And there's a double standard that for women, if you're successful at work, in your professional life, you're neglecting your home life, or vice versa, that if you choose to stay at home and take care of the kids, you're not pursuing your career, your passion, things like that. So I think it's a very outdated perspective, and not even outdated. I just think it's just not fair. But anyway, so we just want to focus on the positive. So this book, this journal and her book is basically all about finding balance with work and life. You can have both. You can be happy in career and your personal life. It does not have to conflict, and you do not have to choose one over the other. So this journal is called Thrive, just like the name of her book, and it's a really beautiful journal. So I really appreciate this journal because it really focuses on the importance of sleep. And There's a sleep tracker, life audit section. So in everything that you do, if you want to set goals and achieve something, you can't just do it blindly. You have to know where you are at today, do an assessment or a life audit, so you know how far away you are from your dream life or your goal or whatever it is that you intend to do. All right, so I did say that we will not go through this journal in this video, so it's just really beautiful, so I can't help but flip through. Here's a little section about meditation here. Walking meditation, 5 to 10 minute meditation. So just like the Dream Life book that was very compact, this journal is also very compact for a journal. There's not so much prompts. This is not a self-reflective journal, kind of, but not really. This is more like a practical advice. Reminders to move your body, working out, exercising. Task. Try something you've never done before. What are your movement goals? So this is kind of like a reset. Like if you've been burnt out, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just need to reset. Or if you're on your way to being burnt out, this journal will help you to put what measurements you need in place to avoid being burnt out, or to backtrack and take a step back and just carve out time for yourself. Me time to exercise, to eat better, to nourish yourself, to sleep better. So it's a really beautiful journal. All right, and then I have even more items from Kikki, and these are basically coffee table books, and I think they're so pretty. So this is fun to have on your coffee table or your bedside. Like this page, Embrace Happiness. It's just so simple and so blue and so happy. Such a beautiful color. And this is the perfect book to have by your nightstand because it's not like a long story or a novel. You can read just one page, page 7, appreciate it, and just call it a night. Close the book and go to bed. But you're ending the day on a good note, on a positive reminder with inspiration. Or, you know, you wake up and you like to read this in your morning routine. Gratitude challenge. Or really, you can read it anytime. It doesn't have to be morning or afternoon. It's just something that I recommend. So this book is called Enjoy. And there is also another book called Do. Same thing, it's a coffee table book, just fun to browse. These are my guilty pleasures. Share. I think this is about creating relationships and celebrate the people in your life. Finding who you are and the people that support you and things like that. And this one here, Dream. So obviously I have not opened this book yet. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. I know that was a really lengthy video. However, I hope that the purpose was to go through the Dream Life book in depth so that you know exactly what type of content is in this book. So if you want to purchase the book, so you know that you're not getting fluffy content, The Dream Life Journal is optional, of course, but I would recommend it because it's nice to browse through after you finish the book and just go back and revisit your responses and revisit a dream or a goal that you haven't pursued yet. And again, it's a lifelong process. And then this journal here, called Thrive, the journal that focuses on sleep and working out, is healthy habits. And then I also have this book called Ikigai. So this is a Japanese concept of, it's a lifestyle of pursuing a happy and healthy life. So this is a fun little read as well. So I am going to go through this book on another day. All right, so thank you so much for making time, and I hope that you are inspired to pursue your dream life. There is a lot of information that you can pull from this book, and let me know what your thoughts are about this book. And of course, if you think that I can do a better job of reviewing books or showing other things that you might be curious about or any questions that you have, I will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. All right, bye.